Mr. Shapiro, you talked about white privilege, and just this week, I had a conversation with Rachel Lazar, who's done some work, a Jewish American woman who's done some work on this area, as well as having extensive conversations with Dr. Greg Parks of Wake Forest University, who's also talked quite a bit about critical race theory. And it's my understanding that white privilege is not telling individuals that they cannot speak, but it is a term for societal privilege that individuals have as a benefit of their white skin. And I don't think that, and I think universities would be remiss to then say that because you're white, you're not allowed to say anything that's critical of white people. I didn't know that white privilege actually went into that sphere. My understanding is it's just, and the issue is that white privilege makes people uncomfortable to talk about the societal privilege that they have.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to America First, the channel where we defend common sense, freedom, and the values that built this great country. If you love free speech, truth, and standing up for America, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on our latest conservative takes. Let's show big tech we won't be silenced. Today we're reacting to a viral moment that's got the left in a tizzy. Congresswoman tries to call Ben Shapiro racist, regrets it immediately. If you didn't catch it, Ben Shapiro, one of the sharpest conservative minds out there, was grilled by a congresswoman about white privilege and so-called systemic racism. Let me tell you, Ben handled it like a true patriot.
Well, to me, what I say on campuses all the time is if you want to cite instances of racism that we can all find and fight together, that's something that I am more than willing to stand next to you and fight, because that's obviously stuff that we should fight together. But when you just say that there is a white privilege out there in the ether and that by dint of birth your skin color generates for you an advantage, what you're really saying to people is that your view is less valuable because you have not experienced what I've experienced. And that is an identity argument, that's a character argument, that's not a rational political argument that can actually be taken on in any way. It's more of a cudgel and a club than it is an attempt to open a discussion.
Well, I think it's a demonstrable evidence that through society's demographics that being white has societal privileges that being black does not. But
we can talk about how that manifests, because that's
I'm also interested in what you just said now, is that you would stand next to anyone who has this. So, Mr. Shapiro, my question to you is, for Ms. Dunston, the tying the noose around the campus and writing messages that target African-American young students, would you consider that hate speech, and then would you stand next to her and fight for her?
As I say, I would. This is the first I'm hearing about it, honestly. But
really,
yeah. But from hearing about it, maybe because it's local. I mean, I'm from LA. But in any case, I'm more than happy to stand alongside her and fight whatever group was responsible for this. Not only more than happy. I mean, you're talking about the alt-right. Again, I was the #1 target of anti-Semitic harassment from the alt-right last year. So I'm more than happy to do all that. And I think there's one more distinction that has to be made. When we talk about cases like Taylor's, they're horrific, and the administration is siding with Taylor. Okay, the administration is doing the right thing by Taylor, or trying to do the right thing by Taylor, as they should be. And I think that we need to make a distinction between cases where the administration is actively participating in the suppression of speech and cases in which the administration is trying to do the right thing in order to punish people for application of crime.
Now let's break this down. The Congresswoman starts talking about white privilege, quoting academics, and trying to claim it's just a neutral term for societal advantages. But here's the thing, folks, the left is using this term as a bludgeon. They don't want an honest conversation. They want to shut down debate. They want to say, you're white, so your opinion doesn't count. That's not equality. That's discrimination, plain and simple. And Ben, he calls it out. He says exactly what millions of Americans are thinking. When you label someone as privileged by birth, you're saying their point of view is less valuable. That's not a rational argument. That's identity politics. That's how the left operates. They divide us by skin color, by group, by grievance, instead of uniting us as Americans. But here's where Ben really nails it. He says, if you want to fight actual racism, I'm with you. That's the American way. We don't tolerate hate. We don't tolerate bigotry. But we also don't accept being called racist just for being born a certain way. The Congresswoman tries a gotcha moment, bringing up a case where a student named Taylor was targeted with horrible racist messages. And what does Ben do? Does he dodge? Does he deflect? No. He says, I'll stand with her. I'll fight that hate. That's leadership. That's principle. And that's exactly what conservatives believe. Judge people by their character, not their skin color. Here's what gets me, patriots. The left acts like they're the only ones who care about racism or hate. But Ben points out he was targeted by the alt-right for standing up for his beliefs. The reality is conservatives are harassed all the time for speaking the truth. But you don't see us playing the victim card or demanding special treatment. We want equal rights, not special rights. And let's talk about universities for a second. The left wants to turn campuses into safe spaces for their ideas only. Ben makes it clear. Free speech means everyone gets a say. If the administration is actually protecting students from hate, great. But too often, we see the opposite, administrators silencing conservatives, punishing anyone who speaks out against leftist orthodoxy. Look, here's my honest, patriotic take. America isn't perfect, but it is the greatest country on earth because of our founding principles: freedom, equality, and the rule of law. The left is trying to divide us with toxic ideas like critical race theory and white privilege. They want to make people ashamed of being American, ashamed of their heritage, ashamed of their skin color. But we don't have to play their game. We can stand up like Ben and say, I will fight real injustice. I will stand up for my fellow Americans. But I will not be bullied into silence by identity politics. That's the America First spirit. So if you agree, if you're tired of the left's race baiting and division, hit that like button. Subscribe and join the America First family. Let's keep this movement growing. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been accused of privilege just for speaking your mind? Let me know your stories. Together, we'll keep pushing back and defending what makes this country great. Thanks for watching, Patriots. Remember, freedom isn't free, and it's up to us to defend it. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.